I call it mommy juice. So if you click on the link, when you click on the link and you go into our gift shop, you're going to see all these beautiful gifts that are on sale right now for 20% off, and you get to choose any bottle you like for that gift. So check that out. And I also want to share that our trio of love language is back. It went out of stock for a while. And these beautiful little babies, these are my favorite little bottles. And I remember when they first launched them, they're just so cute. They're eco-friendly, so it's a little smaller than a regular bottle. And they taste delicious. So we have a red blend, we have a rosé, and we have a Chardonnay. These three are also a purchase with purchase. So if you purchase 6 bottles, you can add these 3 bottles for just $30 to your case. So these wines are wonderful. The red wine, wonderful, nice and it's not too sweet, not too dry. It's wonderful, pairs well with wonderful cheeses like Vermont white cheddar. That's my favorite with this wine. But they're delicious. So try them out. They're only $20, and for our wine club members, it's even cheaper. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and those wines there, Stephanie had sent me those last year, and
they're so good.
the rosé and the red blend, and yeah, those were really, really good. I did enjoy them. So and tell us some of the advantages of the wine club, please.
So the advantages of the wine club is you save up to 20. And what I love is that we offer free shipping to our wine club members, and not many wineries do that. So it's expensive to ship wine, but because we donate, to nonprofits, and we have donated so much around the world, we're able to do this for our wine club members, where we give you free shipping on 6+ bottles. And it's also free shipping in between. You can skip your month anytime you want. So there's a 1, 2, or 3 month increment. We have a build your own option, so you can swap out your bottles at any time. And then we have a curated option where our winery picks the wines for you. And usually a lot of people like to go for that. If you're not too familiar with wines, you get the curated option. So you get to taste many different wines and reserves. And 10%, 20% is going to nonprofits. So again, every purchase is supporting nonprofits all around the world. And at checkout, all you have to do is choose your charity. And if it's not in there, you can type it in. So we got you.
Yeah. And again, you can always visit our Facebook page. You can go to its Community Pay It Forward One Hope fundraiser. Go to our page. I guess I need to shut these so you can actually see it. But if you go to our page, we ask you, share your favorite bottles, share your favorite recipe. Tell us what you think about the One Hope wines. Tell people what you think, and tell them about your experience, and let's have a lot of fun. So Community Pay It Forward One Hope fundraiser. It is in a group, so it's impossible for me to share the link. I will have it in the description of this interview once we're done and I release it to YouTube and everywhere else.
Yes, and on that note, when you do try One Hope, we have it's just wonderful. You try One Hope, and then when you review it on our website, One Hope gives you points, and those reward points are cash towards your next purchase. So that's another thing I wanted to mention real quick. One Hope, not only are you donating to nonprofits, you're receiving 5% back on all of your purchases at the same time. And when you're a wine club member, we're giving you gifts, $500 worth of gifts, and you get, I think there's there's 2 reserves that you get. You get an iconic, you get a reserve, and you also get a $200 credit. So if you ever go to Napa, you can visit One Hope, and our chefs will gladly chef it up for you. So that's another beautiful perk that we have with our.
And I know that you and the Goddess of the Grape, you guys both love doing that. You love doing all the events and everything. Once again, here is the QR code. You simply scan that code that Melissa has worked very, very hard on. You just scan that code, you make any purchase, and our wonderful guest and our wonderful highlighted nonprofit of the month, World Music Development, gets 10% of every bottle you buy, and 10% also goes to the 4 pillars. Melissa, can you remind us of the 4 pillars, please?
Yes, it's world hunger, clean water, health, and education.
And that you'll be able to find that QR code all over community page forward channel pages all month long. So Saad, thank you, sir. Sam, thank you, sir, for joining us. And I look forward to talking to you again on the 15th when we do our half-month show. Melissa, as always, I'm so glad that we got to get this back together. And I will talk to you both very, very soon. Sam, I will send you all this information when we're done. I will direct an email that connects you two as well. So, but I want to thank you both so very much. Once again, if you want to get a hold of Sam, it's Sam at worldmusicdevelopment.org. That's SAAM at worldmusicdevelopment.org. Or you can text him 970-389-1 or 970-389-8197. I'm not sure. Maybe I've already been drinking today or something, because I am just having one hell of a time talking. So
words are hard sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. This English language that I speak, whatever. So, but again, I want to thank you guys both very, very much, and wish you both a great evening. And I will talk to you both soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Melissa.
We'll see you
Keep
soon.
up great work.
Bye. Every time I listen to that, I get excited, because music is one of those things. I listen to a lot of books, I listen to a lot of talk radio, news, stuff like that, but music is one of those things that when you listen to it, there's a shift in your body that is so important. And I think that every single one of us has that go-to music that makes us feel better. Of course, as I've stated, my music really not the taste of everybody else's music. I've been a Megadeth fan since my teenage years. I like the metal. That's kind of the way I go. Faith No More is one of those that if I'm having a lazy day, it's one of the bands that just, you take, you listen, you laugh, and you're able to take and come back from it a little bit. And I think what Sam is doing and his group, what they're doing, I think it's wonderful, because it's giving music the recognition really that it should get. It's giving them the credit that it should get, because it can change lives, and it can change people's perceptions, and it can really bring people together. Metal brings you together by slam dancing. I know I used to joke with people all the time. I had dentistry done by metal concerts. So I also broke a finger, thank you, Will, by slipping at one point in time. So I do want to thank Sam, and I want to thank Melissa very, very much. And we do regret that neither of them were able to get back on. I told Melissa that we'll just start this again next month, and we'll go from there. We may have to make a change, so I'm going to be looking into that for the next couple weeks. Coming up at the beginning of next month, we've got a brand new mission partner, Dignify Dementia. And the story behind this organization, very small organization, is, I don't want to say heartbreaking because it's really not. It's the reason behind it, yes, is a little heartbreaking. Finding out that somebody that you love that has dementia, that is terribly heartbreaking. But the truth that the father who had dementia, his first thought was, well, what can we do to help other people who go through this? And as I've mentioned, that's really kind of the way that nonprofits start. You sit there and you go through something, and your first thought quite often is, what can I do to not, to have people not have to go through this same thing? It's the reason why Community Pay It Forward is here. Well, Dignified Dementia, that's what they've done. They're trying to come up with the ways that they went through, the hardships that they went through with the diagnosis of dementia. They're trying to find a way to where other people don't have to go through the exact same thing. And they will be our guests starting next month on the One Hope Wine fundraiser, Community Pay It Forward One Hope Wine fundraiser. Brand new to the family are our next two guests. The first one, a bookkeeper that does things a little bit different. Okay, a lot of the bookkeepers that we have as partners or have had in the past, you ask them the question about taxes and they didn't want to, that wasn't their game. It's not a problem. That's great. Hey, specialize in what you do. That's not Heather. Heather said, you know what? I feel better if I take this on. And so Heather does taxes. She is a bookkeeper that does taxes with Burton's Bookkeeping. Another, as I've mentioned before, another brand new partner to the Community Pay It Forward family. So I would like to introduce to you Heather DeJesus. I for some reason I was thinking I called her Deborah, but no, it's Heather DeJesus from Burton's Bookkeeping, brand new to the family. Wonderful, wonderful story as a teacher. So many exciting things that she's done, and I really, really enjoyed this interview, and I hope you will as well. Hey, everybody. Every business, and this is one of the reasons why I love working with small business. Every business is different. It's also one reason why we never have an exclusivity exclusivity in our program, because everyone has their own specialty. One of the greatest things about my guest, she does things a little bit different than the other bookkeepers we have. I'd like to introduce you to Heather DeJesus. How are you doing?
I'm good, Zach. How are you?
You started Burton's Bookkeeping. Tell me a little bit about it. What was the reasoning behind starting your own bookkeeping company?
I've always been, I've always helped people with finances and things, and I saw so many like small businesses suffering because they didn't have good bookkeepers, or they had bookkeepers that were just they didn't care as much about their small business because they were small. And I love working with small businesses and watching them grow. And so that's why I started Burton's Bookkeeping and Taxes.
You mentioned the teaching. There was an aspect of wanting to help out teachers as well when you started this. As a teacher nowadays, they're not getting the backing that we need to get for them. They have to provide their own supplies and stuff like that, which to me is still. And you and I talked about this when we first met. My son is a teacher over in Japan, and it is completely night and day. It is so much different over there. But you saw with your experience as a teacher, you were like, well, I also want to make a difference for other educators.
Yeah, because they, I mean, as an educator, my husband I drove him crazy because I kept buying things, you know what I mean, for my students because I wanted them to have it. And now with, my own business, I can give to them, you know what I mean? And so they're not spending things out of it. So it's nice to be able to like go on a field trip with the kids or something, or do extracurriculars and help the teachers that I used to work with. Well, so it's always nice to do that.
Let's go off script a little bit right here. What if you were able to talk to people in the community and say, hey, you know what, if you can do this for a local teacher, it would really help them out, what would that be?
Providing supplies for their students. Just ask them. It's like I was a math teacher and I was begging for pencils. Literally I had like them on shipment from Amazon. Had them. Just like ask them like simple things that you think that we don't have them. Pencils, paper, like we have kids that don't have book bags, coats. I mean, things that, and here in North Carolina, it gets cold, and the kids don't have coats. And I mean, so it's simple things. Just call your local school. They will be so grateful. So grateful that you, even a little bit, even if it's $20 worth of stuff, $10, they'll be very well.
So in other words, folks, there's a great idea. Okay, this school year is coming to an end for most areas. I know that there are some schools that go all year long, but it's coming to an end. So let's take in and throughout the country, let's start getting together and collecting school supplies and dropping them off to a local school, maybe a school that your kids used to go to or something like that, just to try to help them out. And of course, for anybody in Colorado, if you do have a school without coats or you do have a kid that needs some clothing or something, make sure you reach out to us here at Community Pay It Forward, because Community Dare to Care, we do have tons of shoes and stuff like that. But let's get back to introducing Burton's Bookkeeping. One of the things that you do that are different from other bookkeepers are you do taxes. So you are a true all-encompassing, I don't want to say all-in-one, but you're an all-encompassing bookkeeping program.
Yeah, and I got very lucky when I opened my bookkeeping business. I had always done individual taxes, but I call her my partner in crime because she's in Missouri, but she's taught me so much about corporate taxes and S corps and things. So like I could actually take my bookkeeping and do their taxes for them, which isn't an extra cost for them. So that always helps, because every penny counts when you're running a business, that's
Oh yeah. Yeah, very much.
Plus I know their books. So, I know what deductions they can take, and those clients I don't do taxes for, I can help them to make sure that their books are ready for taxes, because I know what their tax preparer is looking for.
What are some of the things that, and I don't want to say drive you crazy, but I'm going to say drive you crazy about businesses that they need to be paying closer attention to because it can save them money? What are some of those things that businesses can really do to help you, but more importantly, help themselves?
Well, one thing I look at for them to help themselves is to their credit card processors and things like that. There are so many of them, they don't ask for ACH or, and that can save them so much, like in fees and things that they don't think about. Also, like some of the deductions, like they're like, oh yeah, I bought this subscription, you know, yeah, I use it for business, but they don't think that it's, you know, it is. They have vehicles out there that they're running, and they have a AAA in case one of their salesmen, you know, breaks down on the road. And they're like, oh, that's personal. No, it's not. It's not. So just knowing, and that's why I always like to give them a list, like, of what the deductions for their thing. And then for me, just trying to make sure that every week or so, you know what I mean, like I'm sending them and just responding to the ones that we don't know, because in a month, you're not going to know. They're not going to know. I mean, Zach, come on, think about it. I don't know what I bought at Walmart a month ago.
I don't know what I bought this last weekend, and it's
Right,
we're
so-
recording this on a Tuesday, and I
Right,
can't
so-
remember everything that I
That's-
bought on, you know, this weekend. So yeah.
Help your bookkeeper by, you know, keeping up when they, you know, weekly and saying, hey, I bought this. I have one client that's so awesome with that. She'll email me, hey, I bought this. Only this amount was business associated, but I got the receipt. You know what I mean? So that helps out so much.
Heather, one of the things that we've done before, and I hate saying this because it's a little bit grandizing, but that's not the purpose of this. You cannot write off every meal as a business meal, but we once in a while will take, and like I'll walk into McDonald's and I'll see somebody who's, you know, outside, and we'll purchase a meal for them. Can we write those off?
Depending on how you do it and how much it is, you can take it off as charity. And then when you itemize your taxes, you can take that off as charity. So,
Okay. What do you have to do anything special to make that stand out? Do you have to have them like sign a receipt or something like that? Because, you know, usually it's just like, you know, I'll buy a number 2 with
right. But when you give them cash, it isn't, you know what I mean? Like, like giving them cash is going to be more, but like when you're buying a meal, if you're claiming it as, you know, like, and most businesses that aren't S corps that are, you know, that are just sole proprietors, they're doing their individual taxes with their business. So that could be, you know what I mean, part of their itemized deductions as charitable. Just keep the receipts. And some things people forget about is the miles.
Yeah.
If they go and like help, like I have a tax client that goes and helps at the YMCA. She volunteers, and she volunteers there once a week. Those miles count too as tax deductions that people don't think of.
What about networking miles?
Yeah, whenever you go to networking, you get to take those off. Keep track.
Yeah.
I get to take it off all the way to Colorado, right? Isn't that where you are? Colorado? No.
Yep. So yeah, there you go. You know what? Yeah, you come in and you talk to us. That's going to be one hell of a deduction with gas prices right now.
Definitely.
I mean, it's not the gas prices of a couple of years ago, but thank God.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are so many deductions. And what are some of the things that people think that they can deduct, they try to deduct, and you're like, no?
Mills are a big one. People think that every time they do a mill, some people think that if they give their kids money, like when they're in college, they can take those because it's like part of the business. But you can't do all that either. And then a lot of people do, like if they buy their clothing, they think because they, you know, but clothing's only if you have like a uniform, like a specific uniform, like a nurse, or, you know, like I have a car salesman that I do taxes for. He has to wear certain shirts and hoodies and things like that. So
What about like a business suit, a suit and tie? Can that? No? Okay.
not
Yeah.
unless you are like a statutory employee and you work for someone else and they tell you you have to wear this suit, this color. But if they say dress attire, no. I know.
Okay. Well, there goes what I was going to do this weekend. No,
Well, you
I
don't
need
wanna
a
get
new suit
audited.
jacket badly. So, but yeah. And how long have you been doing this, Heather? I know that once again we talked about you left teaching to do this, but when did you start?
Well, I
Brooklyn's
started Britain's Bookkeeping in February of 2023. But I have done bookkeeping and taxes for years. It just was my side hustle. It wasn't my main thing. And I'm so happy that I finally, you know, took the plunge and did that. So yeah, so I've since full-time since February of 2023.
What is it about numbers and numbers with you. You said that you were a math teacher. What is it about numbers that excites you?
They make sense. And with, well, just like math, and algebra, it's like finding out what the problem, what it is. So one thing with bookkeeping that I love is finding out why the numbers don't match and what's missing and what's not. So same one with taxes. How can we get that bottom line down as low as possible and still stay within the law?
Yeah. I think it's really funny that a lot of bookkeepers, they just don't want anything to do with taxes. And and why are you stepping out different from them and saying, you know what, we'll do the taxes? Is it easier for you to keep the books when you're doing everything?
Well, it is. Well, it is, but it also helps me to, like, for example, whenever I get a new client, I always get their tax return, whether I'm going to do their taxes or not. So I get to kind of look at what they took off last year and kind of see where they are. And I can say, hey, you're not where you were last year. Did you forget to put something? Did you put on a personal card? Did you? But what I like to me, it's kind of like going to a baseball game and staying for 4 innings and not seeing who wins. You know what I mean? So where I get to do all their bookkeeping for the year, we do their taxes, and then we get.
I'm in a loud spot right now. I'm heading upstairs in just a second here.